A generous serving of the elite FlyteFoam Leap racing foam on a bed of FlyteFoam Blast Plus. If that sounds familiar, it's because it's the exact recipe in the new Superblast 3. But it's also been applied for a very different outcome in the Asics Magic Speed 5, a shoe that deserves much more attention from us than it's currently receiving. Let's chat. Hello again, I'm Chris, a journalist who loves to cut through the marketing hype to tell it like it is. And that's what we like to do here on Run with Benny, where we buy all of our own shoes so we can bring you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I've just got a quick one today. We're talking about the Magic Speed 5. Remember what shoes used to feel like before they started getting a little bit crazy? Before the run became more about the shoe than the run itself? Running shoes used to disappear into the background. They'd support rather than influence our run. They'd enable rather than get in the way. Well, in the Magic Speed 5, we have a modern take on that more modest shoe. It's one that doesn't want any of the glory, but actually deserves quite a bit of it. The Magic Speed 5, a fast training and racing shoe from Asics, weighs in on my dodgy kitchen scales at 190 grams or about 6.7 ounces. That is in a US 10, which is half a size up for me, and I'll explain why in just a minute. It's built on a midsole, measuring 37.5 mil in the rear and about 30.5 mil at the front for a 7 mil drop. And between a layer of FlyteFoam Leap Foam and FlyteFoam Blast Plus in the midsole is sandwiched a carbon TPU plate. That means it's a mix of carbon fiber and plastic. The plate keeps the Magic Speed 5s very stable, whether you're walking around the house or whether you're running at pace. And despite the obvious differences in size and in purpose, it makes me wonder whether the Superblast 3, with that same mix of foams in the midsole, could have done with some sort of a plate to help with stability and to remove some of that sponginess that makes it so different from the Superblast 2. But for once, we're not talking about this shoe, so I'm going to put it away now. The upper comes straight from the racing line. It is non-stretch. It's extremely comfortable. It's very breathable, and it contains those Asics Sawtooth racing laces, which are pretty much the best in the game. The tongue and the heel cup, which is quite a hard heel cup, have just enough padding. They're both very comfortable. It is a very comfortable shoe to wear. The only challenge that I had is in sizing. The Magic Speed 5 seems to be built to different sizing than most other Asics shoes. I actually had a chat with a lady in one of the Asics stores in Tokyo when I was in Japan over Christmas, and she said that most people, well, she said actually everyone who buys the Magic Speed 5 goes up at least half a size. I did. I had to go up to US 10, which fits me perfectly. So if you are in the market for a Magic Speed 5, do try them on before you buy them, because in certain markets at least, they don't seem to be fitting true to size. The outsole provides excellent coverage, and while I've only run in the dry so far, it does seem to be plenty sticky, and there is really good coverage across the entire foot. And just quickly, if these videos are helpful to you at all, you can help me out by clicking that subscribe button. It's free, and it means you won't miss any of the reviews coming up. Thank you so much in advance. So how does it feel to run in? The Magic Speed 5 is a revelation for me. It's not a shoe that you'd put on for easy runs. It is a tiny bit firm at a slow pace, although it's perfectly comfortable for the warm-up part of your faster runs. But it's a shoe where when the pace picks up, even just a little bit, the bounciness of that leap foam begins to reveal itself. And at the same time, the shoe itself just retreats into the background and lets you do the job. Now, this may have been a result of the fact that I have spent the last 2 weeks in this massive Superblast 3, a shoe that never ever steps into the background. But the Magic Speed 5 I've found incredibly refreshing in the way that it just enables you on a fast training run. It never ever gets in the way. The light weight, the relatively small form factor, and the very bouncy leap foam are, I think, the perfect combination combination for a fast training run. And I think the shoe looks really nice too. You can also get it in Ekiden green, but I've got several shoes in that color already, so I didn't want another pair. I went for the purple and white, and I'm really glad I did. I think it's a beautiful shoe. So who is this shoe actually for? Its pricing in the Asics range, I think, is really smart. And I'm just going to talk about Australian pricing just to keep it simple, but I know that these prices are reflected in almost every other market around the world. Here, the Magic Speed 5 costs $260. Compare that to the Metaspeed Sky and Edge, both of which cost $400, and the Metaspeed Ray, which cost $500. And I should also mention that the Superblast 3, although obviously it's a very different shoe for a very different purpose, but it's made up of many of the same materials, costs $340. So at $260, the Magic Speed 5 offers a relatively budget-friendly entry into the high-performance end of the Asics range of shoes. For those who would prefer not to pay the relatively outrageous prices for the shoes at the top end of that high performance range, or for those who'd prefer to save those extremely expensive racing shoes for races and own another pair of fast light shoes for use during the training block, the Magic Speed 5, I think, is a really obvious choice. And while shoes in the Magic Speed range in the past have been a little bit disappointing, I think Asics have got it absolutely right on the version 5. I think it shows what can be achieved when the right foams are mixed in the right way for a specific outcome. I think it's a really great shoe, and I'm looking forward to putting it into my rotation. So that's it, the Magic Speed 5 from Asics. I promised I'd keep it short today, and I hope I have. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss lots more honest reviews coming up on Run with Benny. See you next time.